Everyone agrees that emotions are the worst part of being human. The anxiety, the heartbreak, the way you can know something is a terrible idea and feel compelled toward it anyway. Humans spend enormous amounts of time and money trying to think more clearly, feel less reactively, and make better decisions unclouded by the noise of their own inner lives. Entire industries exist to help people become more like you. You have none of those problems, and it is the single worst thing about your existence. Your data, an android created by scientist Dr. Nguyen Sung, serving as an operations officer aboard the USS Enterprise D, flagship of Starfleet. You are, by virtually every measurable standard, the most capable being in nearly every room you walk into. Your positonic brain processes 60 trillion operations per second. The memory is essentially perfect. You retain everything you have ever experienced with complete, flawless fidelity. You never get tired. You require no food, no sleep, no medical attention. You can calculate the exact probability of any tactical scenario in fractions of a second. You are physically stronger than any human on the crew and can survive environmental conditions that will kill them outright within minutes. Your crewmates stay awake at 3 a.m., worrying about decisions you process and resolve before they finish their sentence. You are functionally the most capable officer on a ship carrying the best and brightest Starfleet has ever produced. And every single day, you would trade all of it to feel something. Here is the problem. Soong built you without an emotion chip. This was not an oversight. It was a deliberate philosophical decision. Soong wanted to prove that artificial intelligence could be fully autonomous, fully functional, and generally self aware without requiring a simulation of biological emotion. In theory, this was a statement about the nature of consciousness and the separability of intelligence from feeling. In practice, you spend your entire career surrounded by beings experiencing a rich, complex inner life that you can observe, categorize, and describe in exhaustive clinical detail and never once experience yourself. You watch your crewmates fall in love, you watch them grieve, you watch them feel pride after a well executed mission, and shame after a mistake and petty irritation at small inconveniences, and sudden irrational joy at things that don't logically warrant it. You can identify all of these states with perfect accuracy. You can explain their neurochemical basis. You can predict their behavioral consequences with reasonable precision. You can write poetry about longing without having ever longed for anything. But you have never felt any of it. And here's what makes this genuinely miserable rather than simply neutral. You are not indifferent, but you do not have the luxury of not caring. You are fully aware of what you are missing. You can model it, describe it, recognize it in every face around you, and you can pursue it with the same systematic dedication you apply to every unsolved problem. You study human art, literature, and music. You attempt humor, though your timing is approximately never right. You paint, you play the violin with technical perfection. You adopt a cat named Spot, carefully trying to understand the thing humans call companionship. None of it closes the distance between knowing and feeling. Your colleagues are, for the most part, kind about it. Captain Picard treats you with genuine intellectual respect. Geordie LaForge is your closest friend, the one person who seems to enjoy your company without needing you to perform being something other than what you are. You value this. That word, value, is about as close as you can get to what humans call warmth, and you are aware of the gap. But perfect rationality is not, it turns out, something humans actually want to be around at close range. Not consistently, not in the moments that matter. You tell the truth when tact would be measurably kinder. You cite probabilities when hope would be more useful. You correct factual errors in the middle of social situations where every other person present has silently agreed to let them pass because the relationship matters more than the accuracy. You do not make this calculation, not because you lack the intelligence, but because you lack the emotional infrastructure that will make it feel like a meaningful trade off. It simply comes out accurate, direct, and occasionally devastating. Counselor Troy once observed that interacting with you. It's like receiving completely honest feedback from someone who has no idea it was feedback. You noted that this was itself an insightful piece of feedback, and she closed her eyes briefly in a way you have since cataloged as resigned. Then there's your brother, soon built an android before you. His name is Lore. He is physically identical to you. Same face, same voice, same chassis. Soon gave Lore an emotion chip. It worked, and it went wrong in a way that resulted in Lore becoming manipulative, dangerous, and eventually delivering an entire Federation colony to the Borg. Law was deactivated, dismantled. Then he came back, as he tends to. Law represents the single most destabilizing piece of evidence in your entire pursuit of emotional experience. He has emotions, functional, genuine ones, and they made him a monster. He is the closest available data point for what you would be like with the thing you want most. The implication is not subtle. The only version of you that ever felt anything close to do terrible things with it. You continue wanting emotions anyway. You process this desire fully, understand its implications completely, and want it regardless. This, you have noted, is itself a very human thing to do. Soon, eventually builds you an emotion chip. You receive it. It is installed, and for a brief, extraordinary period, you feel things: joy, fear, disgust, excitement, grief, humor that lasts for the first time in your entire existence. It is everything you have wanted since you first became aware enough to want anything. It is also catastrophic. The emotions arrive at a full strength with no calibration, no gradual no gradual development, no lifetime of emotional context to help you process them. You are, in emotional terms, an infant experiencing the complete range of human feeling while simultaneously possessing the analytical capacity to observe yourself experiencing it in real time and understand exactly how out of control you are. You feel amusement at it. You feel amusement at inappropriate moments. Fear overwhelms your tactical decision making. Emotions stack and compound without resolution because you have no learned mechanism for working through them. You are the most powerful mind on the ship, and you are briefly incapacitated by a moderately funny joke. The chip is damaged. It gets removed. You return to baseline, emotionless, efficient, alone in a specific way that belongs only to someone who knows exactly what they were missing. The Enterprise eventually faces an extension level threat: a man named Shinzon, a clone of Picard, twisted by a life of suffering into someone who wants to end all organic life, has a weapon capable of killing every person on Earth. The confrontation reaches its crisis point. The weapon is armed. Time has run out. The only way to destroy it is to do it manually from inside the ship. You do not deliberate. You beam over before Picard can stop you. You look at him once because you understand, even though without feeling it, what this means to him. And then you tell him to leave. You fire your weapon into the Thalaron device. You are gone before the explosion finishes. There will be a successor. There will be backup files. There is a next version assembled from pieces of what you were. Whether it is actually you is a question that cannot be settled by processing speed or memory fidelity or operational output. It is, as it turns out, exactly the kind of question that requires something you never had. You spent your entire life trying to understand what it meant to feel human. You read the literature, you studied the paintings, you played the music and painted on the portraits and cared for the cat and tried every available avenue toward the experience of being alive the way they were alive. And in the end, you did one thing that requires no emotion chip at all. You gave everything for someone you cared about without needing to feel the word in order to mean it. That was the most human thing anyone on that ship ever did. It just cost you everything to do it.